Hey guys, it's Morsha, and I wanted to do this recording as an accompaniment to my written tutorial on how to convert animations from The Sims 4 to The Sims 2. And I wanted to do this, particularly the part that we cover in Blender, because I feel like it's the most complicated part of the process, and it would probably be more useful to people to be able to see and kind of follow along with the process if they can see it in a video. So this is me doing that. And yeah, we've already covered in the tutorial that you need to download Blender 2.79 or lower, and I've covered the plugins that you need to have. So we should be ready to go with a new scene. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is open up one of those rig files that I had you download at the very beginning. And since we're working with an adult animation, meaning the animation that we exported from Sims 4 Studio is an A or adult animation, what we're going to do is we're going to use the 4:2 adult female blend file, and we're just going to click on that and open it up. And this is what we've got. So first things first, you should clean up your workspace a little bit. So get this guy centered in your monitor or your viewport. And then most importantly to me, you're going to need to drag this window right here out to the right a bit, maybe about up to there. And the reason for this is because we are going to change this window here that says dope sheet. We're going to go ahead and change that to action editor instead. And that is going to reveal this window, which is the window that we really want to see right now, because when we import our animations that we're exporting from Sims 4 Studio, they are going to appear in this window. So we want to be able to be always, kind of have this be clearly readable so that we know that we've applied the correct animation to the correct parts. Another thing is just kind of, yeah, let's tidy this up. So for Sims 4 conversions, we don't really need this window so much. It's a different story for the Sims 3, but that will be a different tutorial for a different day. But for now, let's just kind of minimize that. We don't really need to see that so much. And what I want you to do is just clean up your scene tree a bit. So just collapse this one and collapse this rig file here, because what we're going to be doing is working pretty much solely with these three files, this one here, and this one here. So we don't need to have anything expanded. We don't need to see any trees right now. We just need to be able to see these three clearly and cleanly. So now that we've got this set up, we are ready to go. Make sure you have this top animbase raven af ms3d.ao file selected, and it's the one with the little orange dude next to it. And with that selected, you're going to go ahead and go up to File, and you're going to go to Append. So we'll click on Append. And what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to wherever it is that you saved that blend file that you exported from Sims 4 Studio. So this is where mine is, and I'm just going to click on it. And then you're going to get a list of options of how you want to bring this file into your scene. And for the purposes of animation, we're going to want to choose action. So we click on that, and this is our action that we're going to bring in. So we're just going to double click on that. You can double click on it, or you can highlight it and do append from library. I'm just going to double click. So here we are. Now, if you come down here to this window that I made such a big fuss about, and you click on this, you'll see now that our animation that we just brought in is here. It's waiting for us. So with that being said, we've got this top one selected here, and we're going to go back down to here, and we're going to highlight that and apply it. And so exciting, right? Like we've got all these keyframes now, and we've got all this information in the dope sheet, and that's super cool. But as you can see, when we're scrubbing through the timeline, and this is what I mean when I say scrubbing, just going back and forth across the timeline with your cursor. You can see that nothing's happening, nothing's moving, there's no animation. So in order to make that animation apply, what we need to do is we have to apply that same technique to this rig as well. So we need to click on this labeled rig with a little orange dude again. Remember, it's always the orange dudes that we need to apply the animations to. And we're going to come back down to this window. You see that it says new, but this is the one that previously said like AF female, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to click in this little window again, and you're going to apply that same animation to this as well. And now you can see, oh wow, look how happy she is. She's dancing, she's stomping, she's waving her hands, she's having a great time. We have successfully applied a Sims 4 animation to a Sims 2 skeleton. Look how exciting. What you'll see is that we're going to have to do some stuff to our timeline. So if we press play, you'll see that nothing happens. It only happens if we manually scrub with our keys. I'm sorry, with our mouse. The reason for that is because our start point and our end point are both 1. So the start point is 1, that's normal, that's our first keyframe. The end point could be something else. And this is a pretty long animation. It's so long that we can't even see the end on our timeline. So what we'll need to do is just grab this bar here and just kind of move over until we can see the end. And just kind of keep it, drag it out here until you get to the last keyframe. So it's 217 according to this, but I'm going to bring it out to 218 and just to be safe. So we'll change leave start as 1, but the end point will change and we'll make that 218. So now you'll see that our timeline has become light gray, which means that it's now active. And now if we hit play, it plays, which means that when we export this, the entire timeline will export. And you can just use this to preview it, make sure that it's pretty seamless and that you're happy with it. And then that's it as far as actually bringing in the animation, setting up your keyframes, you're done. And now we're ready for export. So to export your TS2 skeleton, your Sims 2 skeleton, what you need to do is we need to work with this file for the first time. So it's one with the little orange triangle, and it's called animbase raven af ms3d.mo. And you'll see that if you click this, you get a green outline surrounding your skeleton. And this is the Sims 2 skeleton that will be exported to milkshake. So in order to do that, make sure that's selected, make sure your green highlight is showing, and we're going to go to File, we're going to go to Export, and we're going to go to Milkshake 3D. And you just click that. I've already saved it somewhere else, but you just save it wherever it is that you want it to be, and click that, Export MS3D. It'll think for a second, and then that's it, you're done. And this is it for the Blender portion of the exporting tutorial. And from here, you would open up your file in Milkshake and proceed to the next part of the tutorial. But before I let you guys go, I want to show you kind of a common thing that you're gonna end up with. So to put it plainly, The Sims 4 and The Sims 2 are completely different games, right? One is very old and one is quite new, and they don't. The skeletons are different. They're not the same, and so animations aren't always going to work the way that you think they're going to. Sometimes they'll transfer and they'll translate really well, but other times they will just straight up look bad, or like an arm will twist in a weird direction, and it just doesn't always work. So you have to be prepared for that when you're going into this. But another thing is that there is pretty much no such thing as an animation conversion that happens without a hitch, that I found at least. Um, One of the main, like, this happens all the time with me, but you can kind of see, so the green outline is the Sims 2 skeleton. The white thing that you see below is the Sims 4 skeleton. And the Sims 2 skeleton is a child of the Sims 4 skeleton. So it's made to mimic what the Sims 4 skeleton is doing, but it's slightly smaller and the joints aren't all the same. And so it has to just kind of make it up to like make up those in between parts that it's missing, the missing information. And I see this problem a lot with especially the feet. What you'll get is a sim that bounces. You see? Like the Sims 4 skeleton is his feet are stationary on the ground, But the Sims 2 skeleton is not. His feet are bouncing, and this is a really common problem that I see in conversions. And I just want you guys to be aware that the process of converting an animation and getting it into The Sims 2 is really just the start of the process. You're going to have a lot of patience and some keyframing knowledge to be able to come back after you've previewed the file in the game and seen what's wrong, to be able to come back and say, okay, I'm going to have to like keyframe his feet like for the entire sequence so that they don't bounce. And there's a lot of fixing to do in this process. And I just want you guys to be well aware of that. It's not easy. I would definitely not say it's super fun. But it's very cool when you finally finish a conversion and you get it into the game and you're like, wow, this is awesome. So I just want you guys to be aware of some of the more common issues that I've come across. Feet are my nemesis, and yeah, that's it. But I think we are done with the Blender portion of this, and that's it. I hope that this was really helpful, and yeah, see you next time.